All right, so first we'll just briefly talk about like approaching your mentee. So the best, we'll just go to the next slide. So yeah, the best way to do this is to just introduce yourself. You can introduce your name, your school, your program, and like the level of commitment you want. So for example, like how often do you want to keep in touch with them? You can also discuss things like how you're going to contact each other. So whether that be through Facebook or Instagram or email, and what you want out of the mentor-mentee relationship. So do you want just like answering a few questions, or do you want them to like, do you want to build like a longer relationship? You can also talk about what you're willing and comfortable with, and anything you're uncomfortable with discussing. So just to get that all like out in the open. For example, you can give information on like residents, but you may not be comfortable with like talking about mental health issues. So it's just like super important to get that all out of the way, so you know that you're comfortable throughout the entire mentor-mentee relationship. And we also highly encourage that the mentors are the first ones to reach out, because some mentees can obviously be a little bit nervous to do so. They might think they're like being annoying or just like anything like that. So we really don't want that. We want you guys to be super outgoing and just like message them. And on the screen, there's just kind of like a list of topics that you can use when you're initiating the first conversation if you're a little bit lost on how to do that. So you guys can take a screenshot, or you can find this like on our Instagram page.
Awesome. And so now we'll be going over just unresponsive mentees and what to do in a situation like that. I think the first answer is just to email them again. Sometimes there's an issue of emails going into the junk folder or things like that, especially if they've given an organizational email, like let's say they've given their student email. Those organizations have stricter criteria, and so they'll put a lot more things into the junk. You can also try to find them on another platform like Facebook or Instagram, and let them know that you're their match, and for them to just check the email. And if they're still not responding, or if they just haven't responded in a while, just feel free to send us a message at greenlightmentorship@gmail.com, and we will have another mentee waiting for a match. Or what we'll try to do is we'll try to contact them and see if there's any issues that we can help them with just before they're ready to become a match.
So next we want to talk about what to do if your match isn't working out. So yeah, if you feel like your match isn't working out for any reason, whether that be like compatibility or discomfort or anything at all, like if you just don't feel comfortable with the match we've given you, you guys can feel free to send us an email at greenlightmentorship@gmail.com, and just like make sure to include the following information so we know how to work with you to resolve the issue. Just make sure that you subject the email fall mentorship match issue, so like the right people will be able to will be directed to your email. And the first thing we want you to include is what type of issues you're having with the match. So is it an issue of like compatibility? Are you uncomfortable by something they said? Anything like that? We just want to know like what the root of the issue is. The other thing we want to know is if you're hoping to continue working with Greenlight Mentorship. So that tells us like, if we should work together on like working the problem or getting you another match, or if you just like don't want to do this anymore. And then another thing that we would really appreciate that you'd include is what can like we do as an exec team to avoid similar problems in the future, just so we can continue like improving and building our mentorship program.
Yep. At times during your entire mentorship period, there may be instances where you need to give your mentee an emergency contact, or you need to support them, with some additional support. If you're unsure of how to help, supports in that regard. But also, if there's something a lot more urgent, you can obviously use one of the numbers below. I would say to just maybe even take a screenshot of this or a picture of this. And of course, you can also take a look at it from our social media, where we'll have these PowerPoints and things listed. Say there's ever an instance where you want to give more specific, like university specific advice, you don't have to be limited to these options over here. You can, so for example, I go to McMaster. If my mentee also, is going into their first year of McMaster, I would guide them to the Student Wellness Center or maybe the Student Success Center, depending on where or how they wanted that additional support. So just be sure to know that these are great resources, but they're not the only resources that you can direct individuals to.
All right, so now we're just going to talk a little bit about the expectations for fall mentors. So we want you guys to make sure that your mentee knows that we're not affiliated with the university, and we don't want you guys to be providing information, for example, in regards to like COVID-19 or course enrollment if you're unsure. Instead, just direct them to another source. So whether that be guidance counselors, academic advisors, OUAC, or just like the COVID website for your university, where like these sources have more concrete information. And another thing we want to make sure that you're emphasizing to your mentees is that your experience isn't representative of everyone's. So you're giving them advice about like a course or about your experience in first year, anything like that. We want to make sure that they know that this is just your opinion and it's one out of like many. So while obviously we do want them to trust you and kind of like rely on you for information, we want to make sure that they know that it is everyone's experience is different. So yeah.
Yep, for sure. And we also have a couple opportunities for everybody for this fall. So we have our mentor meet and mentee event in October. We highly encourage everyone to attend this. It'll be a great chance for you to connect with your mentee and to interact with them. You can play games, network, and we will be sending out an email with the final date to sign up and things like that. And another event we also have coming up is a speaking opportunity at the Virtual Ontario University Fair. So in October, we'll be holding the virtual OUF, where current high school students can hear firsthand experiences from university students. And if you're interested in representing your program or your university, feel free to sign up. I think we just sent the links in the chat, so that's perfect. And then I think that's everything. And then obviously, just check our monthly newsletter to see how, you can also get involved in other ways.